So tell me, we are going to discuss application of IGST in different business environment, business situations. So usually a businessman start business with a smaller shop, kind of small trading. And usually he thinks about purchasing goods in his state and selling those goods in his state itself. So maybe purchasing goods from a wholesaler and selling it at a retail level. So usually people do intra-state purchase and intra-state supply. So this is the usual way of doing business. In this case, what is going to happen, you must have understood. Because he has purchased in intrastate, so his input is intrastate, he must have paid CGST and HGST to the supplier. You understand? He must have paid CGST and HGST to the supplier, to his creditor. In accounting language, to his creditor, he must have paid CGST and HGST, and that would be available as a credit because he is doing B2B transaction. Now in B2B transaction, he will get a credit and he has done intrastate supply. So both are intrastate. Supply is also, output is also intrastate, input is also intrastate. So when output is intrastate, the liability which will arise here will be CGST and HGST liability. This is the liability side and this is the ITC side, input tax credit side. So he is having C and S credit, he is also having C and S liability. So while paying, what will happen? Can you tell me? While paying, what will happen? While paying this particular liability, what will happen? Whatever CGST he has paid earlier will be available as a CGST credit. Will there be any money flow, friends? Come on, tell me yes or no. Will there be any money flow from the government side? Will there be any money flow? No, because C is getting set off against C. That means money was available with the central government only. HGST will be set off against HGST. Again, at this level also, will there be any money flow? Please tell me. This is ITC side and this is liability side. Huh? ITC side and this is liability side. No, that is also, there also no money flow. Can I set off CGST against HGST or HGST against CGST? Is it possible? Is it possible? Answer is no. So this is my situation 1. Please write it down. Okay, the next situation is you have made purchase of intrastate supply and you are selling goods in interstate supply. For example, you are purchasing goods from Mumbai itself, but you are selling goods to the Gujarat state. Okay, so you are purchasing goods from Maharashtra state and you are a dealer in Maharashtra, but you are selling goods to the Gujarat state. So you have purchased intrastate material, but you are selling it to interstate. So the credit that you will have, the ITC that you will have, input tax credit you will have, it will be about CGST and HGST. But the liability which will arise on your output liability will be of IGST. Now please understand my questions. Please understand my question. Can I set off CGST credit against IGST? Yes or no? Come on, tell me. Is it possible to set off CGST credit against HGST? Yes. Will there be any money flow? Will there be any money flow? Answer is no, because money is available with the central government. Money was payable to central government. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Can I set off HGST liability against IGST liability? HGST credit against IGST liability? Yes, but this money is available with the Maharashtra government and I have to pay it to central government. So will there be a money flow? Will there be a money flow? Come on, tell me. HGST credit is getting set off against central government. Will there be a money flow? HGST credit is getting set off against IGST. Answer is yes. There will be a money flow. Which government will pay to which government? Come on, tell me. Which government will pay to which government? I'm asking you this for fourth time. Central government will pay, sorry, state government will pay to central government. Because money was available with the state government, but the liability was of central government. So this is what you need to draw. Here in this particular chart, it was not drawn. So later on, you please draw this. Okay. The next situation. Situation 3. Then you write it all at one time only. I will share the notes with you on WhatsApp. Situation 3. Interstate purchase and interstate supply. Interstate purchase and interstate supply. You are making interstate purchase and you are supplying goods to interstate. So meaning thereby you are in Maharashtra. You are in Maharashtra. Okay, a dealer is in Maharashtra purchasing goods from Gujarat, and selling it to Kerala. A dealer in Maharashtra buying goods from Gujarat and selling goods to Kerala. You understand the situation? Do you understand the situation? A dealer in Maharashtra buying goods from Gujarat and selling goods to Kerala. So he's making interstate purchase and he's selling also interstate. Do you understand situation first? So which tax he will pay here? IGST. That will be available as a credit. And which liability he will have? IGST. That will be his output liability. Again, my question is here, can I set off IGST credit against IGST? Can I set off IGST credit against IGST? Tell me yes or no. Yes. All right. Everybody. So this is how you need to understand, friend. Okay. Will there be any money flow? Will there be any money transfer from any government to any other government? Yeah. And definitely answer is no. Your answer should be no. So this is the next third situation. I'm going ahead to the fourth situation. Now in the fourth situation, what is happening? The dealer in Maharashtra is buying goods from Gujarat and selling in Maharashtra only. Okay. A dealer in Maharashtra, maybe sari dealer, is purchasing goods sarees from Surat and selling it in Maharashtra local market. Okay. So he must have paid IGST. So he will get credit of ITC credit of IGST. He will get ITC credit of IGST, but the liability that will arise in his transaction, output liability that will be arise in his transaction will be CGST and HGST because he's selling intrastate goods, isn't it? So he has to pay CGST and HGST, but he's having credit of IGST. Now my first question, can I set off IGST credit against CGST liability? Can I set off IGST credit against CGST liability? Come on, tell me yes or no. Come on. Tell me yes or no. Will there be any money flow? Will there be any money flow? IGST is getting set off against CGST. Answer is no, because IGST we have paid to central government and the CGST was also liable to be paid to the central government. Yes. But can I set off IGST against HGST? This is my question now. This was my first question. This is my second question. Can I set off IGST credit against HGST? Answer is yes. Answer is yes. But will there be a money flow? Come on, tell me. Will there be a money flow? Yes, because the credit money was available with the central government, whereas liability was of state government. So who will give money to whom? Come on, tell me. Money flow. Tell me fast. Money flow. Central government will transfer money to state government. That to Maharashtra state government in my example. Central government will transfer money to state government. This is my fourth situation. Do you understand first four situation? Do you understand first four situation? Tell me yes or no. Answer is yes. Okay, fine. The next level. The next situation is a situation where your output is exempt. So my output is exempt means what? You are selling a vegetable, vegetables are exempt. Or you are supplying services which is exempt. You are running a hospital, hospital is exempt. Or you are a petrol pump. Okay, so petrol is not taxable under GST law. You understand this? So there is no GST liability which will arise in your case because your output is exempt. There will not be any GST liability in your case because your output is exempt. Is it clear? Your output is exempted and therefore you don't have to pay GST. But you will purchase lot of input on which you have paid either CGST, HGST or IGST to run your business. Okay. So you might have paid a lot of tax. Exactly how, sir? So you might be doing chartered accountant's audit. A CA will charge GST and he will charge you pay. You might have taken transporter service. On transport service also you might have paid GST and reverse charge mechanism. Okay. You might have purchased certain goods on which you have paid IGST. Okay. Maybe plant and machinery and something that you have purchased. You have purchased computer, you have purchased mobile, you have purchased many things to run your business on which we have paid IGST or CGST or HGST. But will you get credit of these points? Come on, tell me. Should you get credit? अरे आपके आउटपुट पे टैक्स नहीं है तो इनपुट टैक्स मिलेगा आपको? लॉजिकली बोलो. Your output is not taxable. What will you do with input tax credit? A credit should be given to that person who can utilize this credit to offset his liability. There is no liability. So will you get credit? Answer is no. And therefore, any supplier of exempt services or exempt goods or non-taxable goods, okay, he will never get credit. He will never get credit. Am I clear? Is it clear? The situation 5 is clear. See, all this we are discussing from chapter number 6. That means input tax credit chapter. That chapter itself is one of the core chapter and difficult chapter. We are discussing this in a very beginning. You are not even enough mature to understand all this point. But I am going to use this point to teach you law again and again. And therefore, I am teaching you all this point in the chapter number 1 itself. So you need to understand this. Though gradually also you will understand why it is happening. But you are supposed to develop a basic understanding about the situation that we have created. Till now, I have created 5 situations. Am I clear with the 5 situations? Are you comfortable with the first 5 situations? Come on, tell me. Yes, sir. If you are comfortable, then only I will go ahead. Next. As a government, you please tell me, will you encourage export or discourage export? You are a government, will you encourage export from our country or will you discourage? Encourage or discourage? Encourage ka E, discourage ka D. You can use any of this terminology. Encourage. Only 2 students are saying encourage. Okay. Now balance students have also started saying encourage. So why do we encourage export? Because whenever we do export, we get multiple benefits. One, a GDP of the country goes up. Why? Because more goods are getting produced in the nation. Employment of the country goes up. That's also good. Many people get money in their hand, so money circulation in the market goes up. Okay. Overall, standard of living of Indian people will be enhanced. So this is one thing. More development will come into picture. Apart from that, whenever you do export, we get foreign currency. That foreign currency will be parked in India and that will be in any particular bank and on which RBI is having control. On foreign currency, RBI is having control. So in India, foreign currency is not usable because in India, if you wanted to use currency, you have to get exchange with the bank. The moment you get this particular currency exchange with the bank, RBI or government of India will get this particular foreign currency and you will get equivalent Indian rupee. So your matter is over. Now government of India is having this particular dollar or foreign currency which will be used to repay foreign debts. So we are having a lot of huge foreign debts from foreign governments. So that particular loan that government of India has taken from the foreign countries will be repaid by using this particular dollars. So this is the whole economics that I told you about the foreign currency, how this particular things works. Now you must understand, government always encourage export. Now when we talk about domestic market, you are competing with only trader in Maharashtra, trader in Gujarat, trader in Delhi, kind of. So you are competing with Indian trader and Indian technology. But when we are talking about global market, you are competing with Russia, you are competing with Japan, you are competing with USA, you are competing with China, Myanmar. You understand? African countries, very the competition level is very high. So to prevail, to succeed in this particular international market, your prices of the commodity should be, a price of the commodity should be as low as possible. Isn't it? Do you understand the basic economics behind it? Your price of the commodity should be minimum possible. Okay? To bring this particular price low, there are a lot of policies that government of India has undertaken, and foreign government also does the same thing. One of the policy of government is that do not charge indirect taxes on export. Do not charge, this is one of the policy of the government, do not charge indirect taxes. So if 1 lakh rupees goods you are selling in the international market, and if I charge 18% GST, so the goods will become 1,18,000 rupees in the international market. So goods is becoming costlier, whereas we wanted our goods to become cheaper. Therefore, we will not charge this 18,000. And because we don't charge this 18,000, a 1 lakh rupees goods will be available in the market for rupees 1 lakh. Do you understand why export is exempted? Do you understand why export is not taxable in India? Hello? Because we are encouraging export. If you supply the goods in domestic market, you have to charge GST and then supply. If you supply goods in international market, no GST. Enjoy. Do you understand this? Only Amol understood this. Thank you, Amol. Thank you, Rutik. Thank you, Gayatri. Yeah. Keep replying. Please keep replying. Yeah, Vijay. Thank you. Thank you all. Now, please understand, this is the whole background why export is encouraged. And export is not encouraged only in GST law. Export is also encouraged in income tax law by giving special deduction to exporter. Export is also encouraged in customs law by not charging export duty. Export is also encouraged in excise duty by not charging excise duty. Export is encouraged by giving a lot of subsidies to exporter. So there are a lot of things that government of India does to support export houses of India. Apart from that, one of the second benefit is given to this. Now this is the exporter. On export, there will not be any GST, no GST. Okay, this is the first benefit. On export, there is no GST. Will you get input tax credit? See, he is going to procure a lot of domestic goods. So on domestic goods and services, he must have paid GST, lot of GST. Will you give him credit? Come on, tell me. There is no output GST. Will you give him input tax credit of GST? What is your logical answer? He is not going to pay any GST. Will you give him ITC of inputs? Tell me yes or no. What is your understanding about it? There is no liability. Will you give him ITC? What is the logical answer which comes to your mind? And your answer is perfect. Your answer is no. So generally, usually, we would have not given him any input tax credit. But you know what? If you don't give him input tax credit, this cost component, the GST will be added to the cost. The GST will be added to the cost and goods will become costlier in the international market. Do you understand what I said? If you don't give the GST as a credit available to this particular, say for example, he had purchased one machinery for 100 lakh rupees. One machinery for 100 lakh rupees on which he has paid 28 lakh rupees GST. So let's take 28 lakh rupees. So sorry, he has paid, so it will be added. He has paid 28 lakh. So for him, cost of the machinery is 128 lakh. If you don't give him credit of this 28 lakh, this will become cost of the machinery and the cost per unit will go up. Similarly, if he has purchased a raw material of 10,000 rupees by paying GST of 1,800, his cost will become 11,800. His raw material cost will become 11,800 just because you are not giving him GST, and eventually the product will become costlier in the international market. Now that's not the objective of Government of India, and therefore Government of India said even though exporter is not liable to pay tax on output, even though exporter is not liable to pay tax on output, still he will get credit of ITC. Still he will get credit of ITC. It is available. Still ITC is available. But what will he do with ITC, sir? What can be done with ITC? What can be done with ITC? Sir, he can claim the refund. He can claim the refund. Later on, he can claim the refund from the government. So government will refund him this 1,800 rupees and this 28 lakh rupees, so that his overall cost of production should go down. So that his overall cost of production should go down. Am I clear? Look at this. His output is export. Export means there is no GST here. Okay. Still input tax credit is there. ITC available or not available? Sir, ITC is available. ITC definitely available. ITC available. Okay. But what will he do with ITC, sir? If he can use, then he let him use. But if he cannot use, he can get the refund. And this is called as a zero rated supply in GST law. This is called as what? Zero rated supply. Zero rated supply means either it is the export or deemed export. Zero rated supply means either it is the export or deemed export. We don't call it exempt supply, we call it zero rated supply. Zero rated supply includes either real export or deemed export. Will you please confirm if you understood this or not? Please tell me. If not, then I will pause the lecture and re-explain you this. Some reply I got, please tell me. Yes, you understood this. See, we have already discussed yesterday about GST common portal. I have even taken you to the some of the aspect of common portal directly live. Common portal means www.gst.gov.in, because everything happens e-governance here. And I have told you this GST common portal is set up by government to establish uniform interface. Uniform interface means everybody, whether you are a taxpayer, whether you are a tax officers, or you are just a dealer, just stakeholder, just a citizen of India, you will have a same common interface. That means same website will be available for all of the users of this particular GST law. And there will be common IT infrastructure between central government and state government. It is managed by GSTN. And I told you GSTN is another short note that can be asked from this particular chapter. What is GSTN? Goods and Service Tax Network. What is GSTN? That is a second separate note we will discuss later on. GST is a portal, one single common portal for all GST tax. So though we have different taxes like CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST, there is no separate website for them. The website for all types of GST is only one, and that is www.gst.gov.in. This is a website. Okay. Next, GST portal is accessible over the internet by the taxpayer, chartered accountants, and advocate, and intranet. This is not internet. This is intranet by the tax official. In GST department, they can directly access without internet, because there is an intranet. I will show you that word. Next, this word is wrong. A common GST system provides linkage to all state, union territories, commercial tax departments, central tax department, taxpayers, bank, and other stakeholders. For everyone, there is a common portal. Fine. What is e-way bill? This we haven't discussed. Let's keep it pending. Benefit of GST we have already discussed. Advantages of GST: creation of unified national market, boost to Make in India initiative, enhancement of investment and employment, ease of doing business, certainty in tax administration because there is only one law, automated procedure, everything is done online, reduce compliance cost, because there is one single portal for all the taxes. Okay. Advantage for trade and industry: benefit to agriculture and industry. Agriculture is not taxable at all, and industry is also exempt up to certain particular limit. Mitigation of ill effect of cascading. Cascading is tax on tax that effect is removed in GST. Benefit to small trader and entrepreneur by not charging GST up to 20 lakh rupees of their supply, and for goods it is 40 lakh. Constitutional provisions we have already discussed. Okay, constitutional provisions we have already discussed. GST Council, yesterday only I showed you GST Council and its composition. I told you GST Council will be constituted by the President of India. Okay, it's a joint forum. It's a joint forum between central and state. So both members will be there. Central government member and state government member. Both members will come together and they will take the final call. Union Finance Minister today, Nirmala Sitharaman, she is the chairperson of the GST Council. Minister of Finance in charge or taxation, or minister nominated by each state or union territory with the legislature, that is Delhi and Puducherry, will have their members in GST Council. So from 31 states, 31 member will be there. Okay. Beside that, union minister of the state in charge, the union minister of state in charge, this is another union minister. So one is chairperson, that is the finance minister, and one more union minister will be there. So two union ministers are there. Okay. What is the function of GST Council, sir? The function is to make a recommendation to the government, union and state government, on important issues like tax rates, exemptions, threshold limits, dispute resolution, etc. So this word will be repeated again and again in future GST discussion, where I will be telling you, sir, please understand that all this particular notification will be passed by the government on the recommendation of GST Council. This wording we are going to use in future again and again. Every decision in GST Council is taken by the majority of not less than 3/4. That means 75% majority. Okay. Of weighted notes. Now there is the weighted average note. Votes will be given. How? Vote of the central has weight of 1/3. So central government is having vote of only 1/3, and votes of all state government taken together to the weight of 2/3. So more power is given to state government rather than central government. This is what I wanted to prove here. Then, so what is the GST network? GST network is the Section 8 company. Section 8 company means NPO, non-profit making organization. GST and control GST common portal. To run this particular website, only this particular company was created. The major functions of a GST, includes facilitating registration. Your registration will be done online. Okay, facilitating registration, forwarding the returns. Returns means GST return, a document which is filed by trader on monthly basis or quarterly basis, that will be forwarded to central government and state government. Computation and settlement of IGST. Just now I told you how IGST has to be settled. Money has to be given by central government to state government, or sometimes state government to central government. So that settlement will be handled by portal itself. Matching of tax payment details with the banking network. We deposit money in bank, government accounts, but that is in bank and through portal. So that matching will be done. So there is one trader X, he has deposited 20,000 in ICICI Bank, okay, of Government of India, ICICI Bank account of Government of India. So whether it is actually received by bank or not, that settlement or that matching will also be done by the cross-checking, you can say, will be done by the portal itself. Providing various MIS report. So what is MIS? Management Information System report. That means to take decision. Government requires a lot of data, and the data will be provided by the GST and this through GST Common Portal. Providing analysis of taxpayer profile. I told you, I have shown you my profile itself. Do you remember? I have showed you my profile itself on GST portal. Yes or no? So this is all GST portal can do. So these are the small aspects that we have discussed here. Now only one paragraph I wanted to discuss with you from this chapter. So the time which is available with us is less than 1 minute. I will discuss this paragraph immediately. So this is 10:40 now. You please log in again by 10:45. Within a 5 minute you please log in. I wanted to discuss only one paragraph which is very important paragraph of this chapter, and this is utilization of credit paragraph. This paragraph. Highly important paragraph, amended law. So this is very important. Please log in within 5 minutes. Yeah. Chalo.